Hey, Halloween is just about upon us, and I am not a huge fan of Halloween. I don't appreciate the shenanigans and the pranks and such. So for those that are parents, grandparents, guardians, foster parents, the people that have the kiddos, this is for you. You know, I'm 63. Back in my day, when you went trick-or-treating, you had your pillowcase, because everybody had a pillowcase, at least one, and you just took off with all your friends, and you would walk for hours and get all the candy, come home, eat till you're sick, the usual. That's not the case now. Back then, it was relatively safe. Please, when helping your kids with the costume, make the costume something that if somebody grabs a child, they can break free. If somebody, if an example, somebody has a robe or a sheet with a hole cut around, for their head to pop through, somebody grabs that sheet, that child is going to lunge forward, fall, and they can be snapped up real quick. Make a costume or help your child create a costume that is safe so that they cannot be abducted. And people will do that because on Halloween, how many people are going around with their kids? People turn their kids loose. Oh, they'll be fine. They're with their friends or with their older siblings. Oh, they're fine. They're just going to the church down the street. They're just going to the school. They're just going around the block. There are people in vans and in cars and in trucks that will snatch your kids in a heartbeat as soon as they see they're not supervised. Be with your child. Do not have your child wear a mask covering their face because you need to be able to see the face. If something happens, law enforcement needs to know your kid wasn't the one with, I have no idea, the Scooby-Doo mask. I'm sorry, I don't know what's cool anymore. They need more than that. Take a picture of your child before they leave the house. Take a picture with what's under the costume, the jeans, the t-shirt, the sweatshirts, whatever, and take a picture with what the costume is. Because God forbid something happens, we need to know what that kid's wearing when law enforcement's called. Because they're going to have 101 kids out there all dressed like vampires or Frankenstein or the Mummy, and they might find that costume in bits and pieces, down the street. We need to know what's under the costume. And I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just being honest. Go through your kids' candy with a fine-tooth comb. I know some area hospitals will actually allow families to bring in the candy and they'll x-ray it, which is really, really nice because you need to know. If something looks suspicious, throw it away. Don't take a chance. Don't give it to the dog. Throw it away. Make sure candies aren't actually pills. My opinion, and you have to remember, I'm old and I'm absolutely no fun. If somebody made brownies or cookies and gave them out to kids, I would throw them away. You don't know what's in those. Unless you know the neighbor or the person that gave them to them and you know them well. Because you don't know what's in that food. I want to keep your kids safe. I want them coming back home in one piece, getting, the candy checked, and then eating till they're sick and up all night because of they're having, the sugar rush. Please, let's keep the kids safe. I know I'm being a pain in the butt, but I'm a mom and I'm a grandma. Be glad you're not my child because he got this lecture earlier about his daughter. He knows it already. He's a great dad. But we have to be safe. We have to be smart. Kids are victimized because they can be. They're vulnerable. Teach your kid when somebody snatches them by the shoulder or the back of the hair or whatever, to scream as loud as they can. And don't yell, no, stop, because kids fight and grab each other. You want them to yell something only in case of emergency. Yell, no, let go, fire. because that's going to get somebody's attention, because they're going to stop and think, what, fire? If your child is old enough to understand what the word rape means, if they're 13, 14 years old, they can scream that. Have the identifier turned on in your child's phone, the locator, so you can track where your child is. We just want to keep them safe. Anything that you can do to keep them safe. Also, keep your pets in. People do mean, evil, vicious things to animals on Halloween. So let's keep the fur babies safe too. If you really want to knock yourself out, have everybody in your neighborhood get together at somebody's house and have a Halloween party. That's pretty safe for your kids. Go with them, accompany them. Do not just turn them loose and let them go down the street. It just breaks my heart the next few days, because we're going to have more and more kids abducted. It can be stopped. It can be prevented. Let's do that. I will now get off my soapbox. Thank you.